Welcome to episode 195. Tonight on Book Chat, I am sharing my highly anticipated books of quarter 2, which is April through June. Stay tuned for some awesome book recommendations. Today's episode is brought to you by audiobooks.com. New customers get one free audiobook when using our promo code AudioShelf. You just need to enter the code AudioShelf on the sign-up page, then click Apply, then fill out the rest of your account info. Support this podcast by using our code AudioShelf and get your first audiobook free. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, you are always welcome back. Here on Book Chat, we get bookish with roundtable book discussions, book recommendation lists, interviews, and more. If you'd like to check out book reviews and other bookish posts, please visit the blog at shelfaddiction.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and share it. Show your support by rating the podcast and leaving a 5-star review of the Shelf Addiction Podcast on your favorite podcast directory. It's super simple and it really helps me out. Don't forget to subscribe while you're there because new episodes come out every Wednesday and Sunday. If you'd like to email in feedback or questions, please do, or call in and leave an internet voice message via SpeakPipe. I look forward to hearing from you. All of my contact information is below in the show notes. Now, before I jump into today's recommendations, if you'd like to check out the books that I recommended for quarter 1, go back and take a listen to episode 163. I've also included that direct link in the show notes for you as well. All right, let's get this list started. Just a few housekeeping notes. These books are in order of release date, not in order of preference. I am looking forward to them all. Also, you know, I am a serious series reader. So in addition to the standalone titles on this list, I also have several books that are not first in series because, you know, as I read the series, I'm looking forward to the new installments. So a few of those fall in that category as well. Okay, starting with April, both of my books for April have already come out. They both were published on April 10th. The first one is The Fates Divide by Veronica Roth. This is the second book of the Carve the Mark duology, so it's only 2 books long. The first book was pretty good. We actually enjoyed this for book club, and it was very different. It was definitely fantasy with a little bit of space and other fun things going on. So in the first book, Carve the Mark, our 2 protagonists, Kyra and Akos, came together. Fate brought them together. And now in The Fates Divide, clearly they're being divided. So there's more struggles that they have to come up against. They really have a relationship that they're not supposed to have due to their statuses in life, and also because of this war that's been going on between their 2 races. So this is definitely young adult. The first book was very good, so I'm looking forward to see how Roth closes out this duology. The second book is The Thief by J.R. Ward. This is the 16th book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood. Okay, if you understand the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, you know what we are in for. If you've been reading along, same as I, and have not fallen off of the BDB bandwagon, then you're definitely going to want to check out The Thief. Last we read the Band of Bastards and the Brotherhood are now a team, a reluctant team. The Band of Bastards they bent the knee to Wrath, if you remember that. Now we will see how they are as a team going up against the Omega. Now, I also believe in this book, Throw and Score, definitely get some screen time or page time rather. So we'll see how this goes. I'm hoping that it is a good installment. The description doesn't tell us very much, but if you've been reading along, we kind of know where we're at, and you don't need much more than that. If you have not heard of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and if you like paranormal romance with a very edgy feel, borderline urban fantasy really, then I definitely recommend this. There are pretty much this group of men called the Brotherhood, and they protect humans and keep the vampire world hidden from the humans while fighting this evil group called the Lessening Society. And it is crazy in the best way. But J.R. Ward does have a very specific way when she writes for the BDB series. So she uses a lot of slang and a lot of terms you might not have heard before. So if those kind of things bother you, this might not be for you. But definitely there's a cadence to her writing. And once you get into the groove, it's a really fun ride. All right, now let's jump into May. In May, I have 3 book selections, of which the first one is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is from the series A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is installment 3.1. So this is a book that kind of tides us over between book 3 and book 4. And this is a short little 224-page book that will give us, the fans of A Court of Thorns and Roses, something to keep us occupied until the next massive book comes out. And Maas writes big books, and we love it. Sarah J. Maas is also really well known for her Throne of Glass young adult fantasy series. So if you enjoy that, you'll definitely enjoy A Court of Thorns and Roses. To me, this feels a little bit older at times. It has like an older vibe. And technically, it's probably new adult, not young adult. So this book takes us through the week before the winter solstice. I believe it might go through that event, but we are back with the characters that we know and love. High Lady Feyre is kind of filling her formal role as High Lady, and definitely everyone's book boyfriend Rhys is back in action. So we are going to see how Feyre, Rhys, and friends deal with the Spring Court and other courts going forward in this story. It should be fun. I really just adore this series so much. And if you're new to this series, definitely, I have to say, A Court of Thorns and Roses, book 1. Book 1 was not my favorite, but it really laid the groundwork. And once you get to book 2, OMG, like mind blown. Like Maas really just takes on this story in book 2. So if you're not like, if you read book 1 and you were kind of like on the fence about it, please continue. You will thank me later. The next book on my list is a standalone title. It is a mystery, and it is The Favorite Sister by Jessica Knoll. You might recognize her name because she wrote the book The Luckiest Girl Alive. I think it was maybe 2016, and that was an amazing book. I really enjoyed it. So she is back again, and this is released on May 15th. So it's about reality TV, and that's another one of my guilty pleasures, reality TV. So 5 successful women agreed to appear on a reality TV show set in New York called Gold Diggers. But the producers never expect the season will end in murder. So obviously this is going to be like we're following 5 women around, and we're going to see who dies and who's doing the killing. And I hope that this is just as suspenseful and twisty as Luckiest Girl Alive was. So definitely I'm looking forward to this. I am also doing a review of this with some other podcasters. We're doing a roundtable for this book also in May. So the month that this comes out, you will see a podcast episode where we are talking about The Favorite Sister. So if you're curious about that, go ahead and dive into that book when it comes out so you can be a part of the conversation. So my third and final book for May is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the second book in the Caravelle series. This is a young adult fantasy title, and I am looking forward to this immensely. You know, when Caravelle first came out, it sat on my shelf for a while. And it was about 2 sisters who go to the circus, or, you know, essentially, and they go to a Caravelle. And this Caravelle is like full of magic and misdirects, and you don't know what's real and what's not, and it's a game. And in this second installment, again, we are seeing our heroine, Donatella, and she returns to the magical world of Caravelle. So in this installment, Donatella finds herself back in the magical world of Caravelle. So she escaped her father in the last book, who was dreadful, by the way. She saved her sister Scarlet, and they should be happy. But apparently, Tella isn't free. She made a desperate bargain with a criminal, and now she owes him. So we all knew from book 1 that Master Legend's true name was hidden from us. We never knew his name. We weren't even sure what he looked like. So in this installment, to win Caravelle, you have to uncover Legend's identity. So of course, Tella is all about figuring this out, and she wants to win. This should be really interesting. I really, really enjoyed the first book, so I think it's going to be amazeballs. Yes, I did say amazeballs, but I do think it's going to be amazing. So definitely, if you haven't read Caravelle first, definitely pick that up. Moving into June, I have 3 standalone titles for June, and ironically, they're all kind of in the same genre. So I guess June is the month that I'm all about thrillers and mysteries, because all 3 of these are thrillers and mysteries. So the first book is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This comes out on June 12th. This author is new to me, but my goodness, these reviews are amazing already. 4.42 average with almost 200 reviews already, and it's not even out until June. So the early reviews are spectacular. It's the story of 3 best friends. One was murdered, one who went to prison, and one who's been searching for the truth for all these years. When looking at the synopsis, I get a distinct feeling that we're going to be back and forth in time, which I always love in a thriller. So we get to see when they're in high school, and then we get to see 14 years later, as the one woman is trying to figure out what happened. Wow, this is going to be a roller coaster ride. I'm definitely going to be reading this in June, and I hope you will check it out as well. Okay, next on my list, also in June, but this one comes out June 19th. This is Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. Now, I have not read B.A. Paris in the past, but she was known for her book Behind Closed Doors that came out in 2016. That got lots of praise and a lot of people read it. So I definitely wanted to give her a try. This book starts off with a young British couple who are driving through France on a holiday, and when they stop for gas, he runs in to pay. She stays in the car, and when he returns, the car door is wide open and she's not inside. No one ever sees her again. So 10 years later, he's engaged to be married. He's happy. And the past is the past. And he comes home and his wife is holding something. What could it be? I don't know. But apparently it's something that means something to his wife's sister, who was his missing first love. What an interesting, twisty relationship thing. Who ends up with their first love's sister? Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It sounds creepy, and I'm about it. So I'm definitely going to be reading this. It sounds like it could be a very thrilling ride. Last on my list for June is Provenance by Caroline Kepnes. Provenance comes out June 19th, and I have read 2 previous books by Caroline Kepnes and have enjoyed them immensely. She is well known for the books You and Hidden Bodies. You've probably heard about it because it's about this crazy guy, Joe, who gets away with stalking and murdering people. This guy, Joe, lives his life torturing women and chasing them and creeping on them and just doing crazy things, kidnapping them. Oh, he's the worst. But those books were so shocking and so wow. I was all in on those books. I was really curious to see what Joe would do next, what he could get away with next. So I am very curious to see what Kepnes has developed with Provenance. So real quick on the synopsis of this, it's about 2 best friends growing up in a small town in New Hampshire, John and Chloe. They were the only ones who truly understand each other. They never really told each other how they felt. But when John finally is ready to confess his feelings, he's suddenly kidnapped by his substitute teacher, who is obsessed with H.P. Lovecraft and has a plot to save humanity. Okay, so this sounds crazy already, and I expect nothing less because, like I said, the characters in that other book were cray-cray. So if they are similar in that respect, I expect fully twisted characters who just go through the most, and that's always fun to read. So that's it. Those are the 8 books that are on my radar for the second quarter of this year. I always stumble across new books even after I post my list because I'm always looking for books to add to my TBR, and so So if you know of something that comes out in April, May, or June that you think I should read because it's amazing, definitely recommend it to me. Tweet at me on Twitter, find me on Goodreads, and make the recommendation to me because, there are so many good books out there, and I know I only see a sliver of them. And if you're a reader like me, I know you have at least 1 or 2 suggestions for me. So definitely send them over to me. I'm going to wrap things up there. Thank you so much for listening today, spending your time with me. I appreciate you streaming and downloading this episode, and I will catch you next time. Until then, happy reading. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed today's book chat episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy all things bookish, including author interviews. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.